Back to follow-up segment tonight. One of the most outrageous social situations we've seen in some time. 8 babies and 6 young children will soon live in a small house with mom, no dad, and bankrupt grandparents. Welcome to the Octuplet situation. Here's what we know. 33-year-old Nadia Suleiman gave birth to a set of twins and 4 other babies using fertility clinics. She then decided to allow 8 embryos to be planted in her womb. At this point, we don't know where that happened or who the attending physician was. We will find out. Ms. Suleiman is divorced and lives with her parents. They have filed for bankruptcy in the past. She has a degree in child development. Now, the 8 babies are all severely underweight, ranging from 1.5 pounds to 3.25 pounds. They and the mother are still in the hospital. Upon release, they're expected to return to a 3-bedroom house. That's 14 kids, 3 adults, 3 bedrooms. Mother has hired a spokesperson and is said to want money to tell her story. The Factor contacted John Wagner, director of California's Department of Social Services, to ask what he's going to do about all this. So far, he has not returned our calls, which is grossly irresponsible, Mr. Wagner. You have a responsibility to the people of California and those babies, sir. Joining us now from Irvine, California, attorney Courtney Pilchman and attorney Anita Kay. Both women have experience in child law. Ms. Kay, we'll begin with you. I said last night on this program, this is child abuse. This situation is totally out of control, never should have happened. The fertility clinic, if it's in the United States, or rumors it may be in Mexico, should be shut down. The doctor should go before the medical board, and the state has to investigate. What do you say?
Bill, I agree with you. I mean, the issue with the doctor and who did this, that is a separate issue that should be investigated. With regard to the mother, 14 kids, 8 of which all need to be fed, diapers changed at the same time. I don't know how anyone can do that. But here's the problem when you look at child abuse or child neglect. Something needs to be done by the state, but more than just a woman having the 8 children. Someone needs to make a phone call. Something needs to be investigated. If this woman goes and tries to collect social services, she's going to have a caseworker. That caseworker will be at her house. Maybe she will see things. Are all 8 children going to sleep in the same crib? Are they drinking out of the same bottle?
This story is so outrageous, Ms. Pilchman.
Right.
The state knows the danger the children are in. Now, the state is not doing jack, nothing, doesn't care. At this point, I expect that'll change because public opinion will be demanding a change. The safety of these babies is paramount to the state of California. That's why they're there. That's why this guy has his job, okay? But right now, it's, well, yeah, it happens, so what? Not good enough for me. What do you say?
You know, I don't think it's abuse, and with all due respect, I think that there is nothing to indicate that this mother is substandard in any capacity. I've seen interviews on the local media where there's a nanny or a housekeeper who says she's a wonderful mother. Now, adding the 8 kids, that's going to be a task. I wouldn't want 14 children, and most people wouldn't want 14 children. But unless those kids are not receiving the proper medical attention, they're not receiving food.
But Ms. Pilchman, I have to
abuse.
challenge. You're going to sit there and you're going to tell me that a woman with 6 young children at home allows herself to give birth to 8 more, and she's a wonderful mother with a 3-bedroom apartment with no father and can't afford anything. You're going to say she's a wonderful mother, madam? Don't you know how outrageous that sounds?
You know, Bill, what evidence do we have that she's not a wonderful mother?
We have 14 human beings, one of which weighs 1.5 pounds. Isn't that enough evidence, counselor?
No.
Oh,
the premature births happen all the time.
We're living in a twilight zone. We're not living in America anymore. If 1.5 pound baby and 14 babies in a 3-bedroom apartment or house is not enough evidence, we're not living in America anymore. We're living in, do whatever the hell you want to do. We don't care about the kids. That's what we're living in.
No. There is nothing to indicate at this time that there's any neglect going on. Now, clearly, there's a ton of media attention, and this lady's going to get a lot of money, and hopefully that money will be sent.
Yeah, okay, so let's market the kids for money. That's good. Let's market the kids for money. Let's go in and let's have as many as we can so we can sell them. What do you? Am I wrong out? Am I wrong here, Ms. Kay? I'm angry right now. I'm angry.
Right. And here's the issue. I mean, this woman's going to sell her story. I can look at it and say, you know what, she's going to sell her story. Maybe she can pay for diapers for those kids. Because if she doesn't sell her story, who's going to be paying for those diapers? You know what? I am. Ms. Pilchman is, because we live in California. So we're going to be paying for it.
Sooner or later, society's going to pay for this travesty, sooner or later. But that doesn't... What really is bothering me now is the lack of concern on the part of the state of California. There should be a massive investigation into who the hell this doctor is, where the fertility clinic is, how this mother had the absolute insanity to do this to these children, and they won't return the call. Nothing going on. You got to make. Oh my God. I'm sorry I was tough on you, Ms. Pilchman. You're a good guest. I'm going to give you the last word on it. Go.
Well, the reality is that there are going to be investigations if there needs to be. And Ms. Kay and I both work in California, and we can assure you that the Child Protective Services is not lax, that they're on top of any, allegation of abuse. In fact, they're probably more, harsh than they need to be in California.
Yeah.
And so I have the utmost faith that these kids will be taken care of.
I'm going to call this pinhead, what's his name? Wagner. Every day. Every day I'm going to call this pinhead. And I'm going to put his picture up every day until he returns our call and tells us exactly what he's going to do. Ladies, thanks very much. Plenty more ahead.